Hello, Facebook friends and family. It's your girl, Brittany Williams, with my thoughts. Thank you guys for staying faithful with me and moving over to YouTube. I'm just really excited. Sorry, I always end up taking my lamp shades off my lamps. I'm just that person. But after an amazing week, I really am wanting to make sure we stay on top of what's going on. In Jerusalem right now, in Israel altogether, it's really been a lot of chaos going on. I am glad to say that between Jerusalem and Gaza, there is a ceasefire, and they are having talks right now and negotiations. So we're praying that it all goes over well. Congress right now is really in a tussle because the Republicans don't want January 6th really investigated as it should be. They feel that everything that is to know about January 6th has already been sought out, and they're like, why should we drag this on? It was just tourists having a bad day. Apparently they forgot to continue through the dictionary and realizing they were homegrown terrorists, not tourists. Even though some of those Congress people had given them tours the day before, but I won't go into that. The other thing is, with this being an odd year, election year, you don't have as many people, big chairs up for re-election, like your Congress seats, senators, governors, stuff like that, up for re-election. Most of it is going to be laws, our city councils, superintendents for schools and stuff like that, commissioners. And so, guys, I never tell you who to vote for. I always tell you to do your study yourself, but make sure you do vote, because these elections are just as important as your presidential elections, just as important as your even year elections. And so I know in Renton we have two amazing candidates running for commissioner on the medical side as far as commissioners are considered, and these are two amazing people. I will do a video about them on a later date. You also have a couple of, I know in California you got the recall election for the governor, but in Washington State we have a lot of different, we have a recall election for one of our Seattle City Council members. So we want to keep an eye on that. And also one of the big things in King County area, we have the a levy that's going to be on the ballot about getting more money into our brothers and sisters who work for child care services and teachers and stuff like that. We want to make sure that they have a livable wage as well. And so when you're reading about these different levies that are on the ballots, make sure you don't just read the top sentence or the first two sentences. Read the whole bill, because a lot of times this money is very important. The way I learned about the levies and why they were important was with my son. He attended the Seattle public school district, but being that the public school district Seattle is such a big school district, all of their schools were not levy schools, meaning they weren't receiving money from the levies that were being passed in the Seattle area. So a lot of the schools, one of them being the school my son attended, the parents had to pitch in and do their parts to make sure that, where the schools were missing that money, we picked up the slack. We would help with we would do volunteering as far as we would relieve the teachers for their lunches and stuff, and we would work at the playgrounds during lunchtime, or we would help during just school events and stuff like that, or bringing in snacks for the children, sometimes bringing in extra supplies and stuff. You have certain parents who are well off, they would help bring in extra money for parents who are having hard times. It's just these different things. I also want to personally thank everyone on behalf of my mom and myself for sharing our interview with New York Times. It was an honor to be able to be a voice for caregivers across this nation, to share our stories. I know a lot of people, it received positive and negative reviews, but whenever you put anything out, it's going to either receive a positive or negative review. It's just how it is. But I really just want to say thank you guys for sharing that story and getting it out there. I hope to see even more stories like that, so that you can see the comparison of doing the same job in two different states in the same nation. We live under the same nation, under the same flag, but because of this, depending on what state you live in, or if you have a union or you don't, it makes the difference. I also want you guys to be aware that even though the CDC did say that if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, I would ask that you use wisdom. Just because you're fully vaccinated does not mean that everyone that you would encounter is. And so use wisdom, keep doing what you've been doing. One of my favorite people that I like to follow on Facebook is Nurse Jackie Bowles, our First Lady Jackie Bowles, or Auntie Jackie Bowles Hicks. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look her up on Facebook. But she's a certified nurse. She's a licensed nurse, and she's an amazing woman. She understands the medical side of this whole situation, and she just talks about how even now she's realizing how her husband hasn't been sick. A lot of people, they usually get colds during this time. I always get a summer cold during this time of the season. I have not had a summer cold. I'm literally this is my first year. Literally my first year where I am not in the bed going and it's really nice, especially in March too. I was not sick like I was the prior year, and which is funny because me and Danny got really sick last March right before everything closed down, so we wasn't actually exposed to the coronavirus like everybody else was when it first kicked off in Washington State, because we were at home with the flu, which was, I guess, a saving grace. Who knew? But anyway, I would applaud you to use wisdom while you're out and about with your families. Continue to carry your sanitizer, continue to carry your soap. If you are a sensitive skin person and you're looking for a good soap product, I would recommend Mel D's. They are on Facebook. They also have a website. Mel D's makes all natural. One of the owners, excuse me, my words. One of the owners is a nurse. Works in the hospital. She is making these amazing products from all natural ingredients: shea butters, coconut. I'm getting my words out today. But anyway, and you can get them personally made, designed for you to fit your skin type, or you can get the kinds that she already have and pre-order. But she makes the soaps and the butters for you, because during this time of us using the hand sanitizers, depending on how long you are out in the public, up to 20 times a day, you really need some butters on your hands to keep your hands from drying out because of that alcohol that's in it. It is ripping. It's not pulling. It's literally ripping out all the moisture out of your hands every time you use it. So I would recommend Mel D's shea butter. I done kind of messed up all of my is it gonna do it? Is it gonna do it? Yeah. Anyway, I use mine so much it just came off. But guys, use wisdom. I love you guys. Like I always tell you, we're gonna see you on the other side of this. You gotta stay smart, stay in tune, and use wisdom. Just because you see somebody else going, "Hey, I can do it, I'm free," don't mean that's what's good for you and your family. Stay informed about what's going on in the government. Stay aware. Always make sure that you are on top of your elections. Make sure that you're registered. Make sure that your registration is up to date. If you've moved, make sure that you update your voter registration along with your address. Do it all at the same time. Make sure if you've had any kind of medical issues where your signature has changed, that you update your signature on your voter registration as well. Guys, make sure if you write your name with a hyphen, that when you go to vote, you write your name with a hyphen. Also, a lot of states down south have changed their voting laws and passed new voting laws that's more restrictive. So study those laws, because we don't want to give any way where people will miss out on being able to vote. So make sure you study those laws and that you're aware of all those laws, guys, because I want everybody's voice heard. Remember that we are all the same underneath this beautiful shell. We're going to continue to bring awareness to hate against people of color, black and brown, our Asian Pacific Islanders, because until everyone is able to walk down the street and not be afraid, not be fearful of being discriminated against, killed, harassed, and everything else that comes with us being non-Anglo-Saxon descent, we're going to keep on fighting and we're going to keep pressing forward. Until everyone has the choice of a union, we're going to keep on fighting and we're going to keep pressing forward. Until everybody has the rights of liberty and justice for all, we're going to keep on fighting and we're going to keep pressing forward. I love you to life. I'm your girl, Brittany Williams, and remember, you're worth it. I'll see you soon, guys.